Hi, my name's Emma, and I'm a huge book nerd.
You're my library, always open for business, but you never show it. You're just sitting with it, but I know the score, and you're killing it.
I am wearing my spoopy scarecrow pumpkin grandma sweater because today I am filming my October TBR. Woo! I have kind of an ambitious October TBR, but we going with it. So to start off, I'm finishing the last 200 pages of Lethal White by Robert Galbraith. This will be no problem. I'm so engaged in this. If I had the time, I could sit down and read all 200 of these pages in one sitting, probably, but we all know I don't have that time. Woohoo! And if you didn't see my September wrap-up that just went up, this book is the 4th book in the Cormoran Strike series by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling, and it's fantastic. When I finish that book, I plan to pick up The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, which I started reading a little bit of because I accidentally started reading this instead of We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson for my reading lit class. So I will finish this for fun because I was hooked by the first 20 pages that I read. Yeah. That's my life. So basically this book is about 4 people who go to Hill House because they hear that it's haunted and they are searching for evidence of the supernatural. It's pretty cool. And Shirley Jackson's writing is amazing, as I learned from her last book, so I am pumped. This is only 182 pages long, so hopefully it shouldn't take me super long to get through, which means that I can quickly move on to A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Yes, I am finally going to start this series. I do also have the second book on my shelf, thanks to my good friend Devin. I'm nervous about this because this book is 800 some pages long, but I'm really excited to finally get into the story because I have not yet watched the TV series. I know, because I've been holding off because I want to read the book first because I'm that kind of person. Once I finish this first book, then I can watch the whole first season at least. So I'm excited and also terrified for this. Then next, I wanted to read a Stephen King in October because how could I not? So I looked at all the Stephen Kings that I have on my shelf and I picked the one that he wrote first. So that book is The Tommyknockers by Stephen King. So basically this book follows a character called Bobby Anderson who lives in the idyllic town of Haven, Maine, and there's something under the town that they have dug up that has like possessed them. And that's all I know about this. That's all I want to know about it. It's a big thickin'. It is 750 pages long. That's why this is an ambitious TBR, because I'm reading 2 gigantic books, but I always love reading Stephen King, so I have faith that I can tear through this like relatively quickly and not get bogged down. I'm a little more nervous about Game of Thrones for that. Excited to read another older Stephen King. It's been a minute. Next, I am reading a book that I was sent by the publisher, which I haven't gotten to yet, which I feel bad about and really need to get to. That is Gazelle in the Shadows by Michelle Peach, and this book is essentially about a young British college student named Elizabeth Booth in the mid-90s who is studying Arabic at Durham University. She is sent to Damascus to immerse herself in the language, and soon in this city, Elizabeth finds herself navigating a web of lies and betrayals and even a murder that involves the British Secret Service. I'm really curious to see how this goes. I love the cover. I love the colors. It's kind of black and white, but there's like a purpley tinge, which I think is really pretty. And I think that this will have a good fall feeling to it, which is why I want to pick it up this month. It's 307 pages, but the font is like fairly large, so I feel like it shouldn't take me too super long. Next, I have picked up, this is actually a collection of essays. It's called 100 Essays I Don't Have Time to Write on Umbrellas and Sword Fights, Parades and Dogs, Fire Alarms, Children, and Theater by Sarah Ruhl. And I have already read several of the essays in this collection, but I have several of these like writer helper books on my shelf, and I never pick them up because they're not like fun fiction, but I need to slowly make my way through reading them. And this is one that I know I already enjoy, so I'm going to try to make this like I read a couple essays from it every day or something like that to hopefully finish in October. And the play that I have chosen to read for fun this month is The Laramie Project by Moises Kaufman. I feel really bad, I should know how to pronounce that. I chose this book for October because it focuses on a true event that happened in October 1998. It was when Matthew Shepard, a young gay man, was tied to a fence and beaten and left for dead in Laramie, Wyoming. Since it happened in October, I was like, this is the perfect time to read this in October. And this is an award-winning play. I hear about it again and again and again. So I'm really excited to finally read this and understand. Of course, I've heard Matthew Shepard's story before. Now I'm like sad talking about this because America's awful and hate crimes are everywhere. Anywho. Now, saying excited to read this feels like the wrong word, but I'm ready to read this. And the last book that I plan to read in the month of October is the book that we are reading for my English Lit class this month, and that is Beloved by Toni Morrison. And it won the Nobel Prize. It's a classic. I've seen it all over the place, and I've always kind of like thought in the back of my mind that I've already read it, but then I really realized that every time I see this cover, I'm just thinking of Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which looks so similar. Look how similar these two books look. Like, I have always gotten them confused because I've read this, but I've never read this. I'm just gonna read you the synopsis because I actually don't know what this is about. Staring unflinchingly into the abyss of slavery, this spellbinding novel transforms history into a story as powerful as Exodus and as intimate as a lullaby. Seth, its protagonist, was born a slave and escaped to Ohio, but 18 years later, she is still not free. She has too many memories of sweet home, the beautiful farm where so many hideous things happened, and Seth's new home is haunted by the ghost of her baby who died nameless and whose tombstone is engraved with a single word, beloved. Filled with bitter poetry and suspense as taut as a rope, Beloved is a towering achievement by Nobel Prize laureate Toni Morrison. Wow, okay. Now I'm really excited to read this. This sounds amazing and heartbreaking, and I feel bad that I haven't read it yet. So yeah, so that's this book. It's gonna be a reading month, my friends. I'm really excited and also terrified. I have set myself up to read 2,215 words this month, and I think that's doable because if you watched my September wrap-up, I read 2,200 something words last month. So we'll see. You'll have to tune in at the end of October to see which ones of these I finished. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends, comment down below, and let me know what books you are reading in October. Thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye! Mwah!
Now I was headed